So,
Oh no.
and that was my last one. So anyway, good morning, everybody. We're here for our team Zoom call, and my camera is still messing up. So I'm just going to turn my camera off. But today, since I wasn't able to prepare anything of substance, I'm just going to open today's call up for Q&A. I was discussing with Sheila earlier before I started the recording that I'm working on some stuff for the inner voice because the old inner voice reports have different information than the new ones do. So I'm kind of compiling all that together to kind of help my team because I think, it will help us connect the dots emotionally in our scanners with this information, and it'll help us understand how to use. If y'all haven't seen, and I'm going to share this with you because a lot of people don't realize what to use this information for in our scanner, but let me go over here and show it to you because it's something that I do when I'm working with my clients. Y'all don't see this person up here, right? I don't know why that opens up to the last person that I scanned instead of me. Um,
That would be a suggestion we could make.
yeah, that'd be a great suggestion because that HIPAA,
Yeah.
even though we're in the natural, it's still a privacy issue to me. Okay, so down here in the Cephi program, I'm just going to show you guys when it's not shown in the actual area right here, but when you go to custom playlist and you go to build a custom playlist, down here you're going to notice inner voice and quick scan. You can add frequencies from these areas like zone 1, 2, 3. These are the different zones that are in our inner voice that will help support. Like, for instance, one of my reports pulled zone 4 being emotionally disconnected, emotionally integrated. The effective octave was D sharp, but the balancing octave was A. So, and then A was is actually I forget what I've got it. I've got a let me see if I can get that pulled up. Um, so the zone A, here's the different. I'm putting all this together, guys, so you're going to kind of get bits and pieces of it. So zone A, or note A, is actually supported by zone 10, even though this was zone 4 that it pulled up on me that day. So zone 10 is the supportive to zone 4. Does that make sense? So that when we're going into when we build a playlist, we can actually click on zone 10 to be that supportive note in a playlist for the day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are y'all following me? Because in a lot of in the new reports, it's not telling us the zones per se, but the old reports did. So I'm kind of gathering all that information so you guys go, well, how do I use these frequencies here so that you can actually add them to a playlist for your day? I mean, if you do that for yourself, I know I do that for myself. If there's certain things that are pulling up in my report that I feel like I need more support on, I'll make a little playlist for myself that day and add like that zone in there, or maybe, in the quick scan. In the quick scan, there's some different options you can add, like morning. And I don't really know. I know these are all just different frequencies for morning, evening, and then we've got the energetic clear and shield again in here. And then supercharger, focus, relax, and grounding. These are all, and then neuro aerobics. So I use these, like the neuro aerobics, I use a lot of times when someone has like some brain cognitive issues. I'll put, we'll try neuro aerobics 1 for a little bit and see if that affects them. If it doesn't, then I'll take that out and put neuro aerobics 2 in there just to try to figure out, well, which one is it? It's just kind of a game I play in a little way, just to kind of figure out how that affects my client. So
Wow. I never thought about that.
yeah, because this is just another aspect in our scanner that a lot of people really don't know how to utilize, and there's not been any discussion on it.
Right.
But this is what I have figured out on my own based on the information that I've pulled from all the different reports. Like our new reports, like just to give you an example, this is zone one, red, unacknowledged versus self validation. And then in the old reports, I believe, yeah, the old reports, it actually gave us the physical areas being impacted. Where in the
Wow.
new reports, you just
You
see a
just see
bot,
a bot.
huh?
I said, wow.
Yeah. So in the new reports, it just shows a body image with these different areas in it. So you don't really know what it's alluding to. But in the old reports, it actually had written out which things were affected by this zone. And then it
Wow.
also gave, and the wording has changed in the new reports. The new reports say supportive octave, where the old report said balancing octave. So I'm just trying to put all that together so that you guys have a little bit deeper information on it. So to me, it was helpful. So and then in the, let's see, also in the old reports, we had these definitions of what unacknowledged was and what self validation was. That's not in the new reports. Um,
Wow.
so I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of going through. I've got a whole stack of the printed inner voice reports, and I've went back to all my old ones. It's really important to email, a few of your reports to yourself so you can go back and look. I've got over, I don't know, over 1,000 reports just for myself in my
Oh my
own
gosh.
little folder.
Wow. Wow.
So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys, and let me look at the chat real quick and see.
Well, I would be interested to hear the rationale for the changes and
Yeah,
if there would be consideration to maybe going back to some of this helpful stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know if they'll do that, but I mean, I feel like Becky and I were talking that, if you're following all this stuff, then I mean, there is a reason that they're probably taking some of this stuff out, because I know in the past a lot of people were looking at those inner voice reports and going, why does it always share something negative? There's
Oh,
always negative information on there. So I
well,
have
yeah.
a feeling that's why they took it out, because in the new
Mm,
reports, it just gives you the positive emotions and the negative emotions. That's it. But the old reports actually went into detail right here by unacknowledged and versus self-validation, which to me that was helpful.
mhm.
And it may not be helpful for somebody else, but to me it was, and I really liked that information. However, I also like the new reports with the imbalances and the suggestions, because we didn't have that before.
Ah,
um that bottom grid where it talks about the emotions that could be affecting you and the potential causes, and then what shows up in the vitals, and then the imbalances and suggestions, those weren't on the old reports. They were very limited with what information you had, so they kind of expanded,
mhm.
with the new reports. But on the same token, the information on the old ones were good too. So it's just something I've been working on. So,
Cool.
and I'll give it to you. I'll give it to everybody. I'll post it in the group. Tracy's asking if I could, if she could have a compilation of what I'm doing, and yes, most definitely, I am definitely going to make a document, and then I'll share copies of the reports so that people can see what it is that I was talking, because a lot of you won't have some of these older reports. Um, any anyway, so okay, I'll shut up. Does anybody have questions or things that they want to discuss? I'm gonna let my little dog out. She can't make up her mind if she wants to be out there with the grandbaby or in here with me. Tracy, everything is on my Zoom calls or is either in the group or on my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to go back and look at any of those videos. We've discussed a lot of the how to detect leaky gut by using your AO scanner. And then I forget what all we've talked about recently, but anyway, I'm trying to make sure that everything is posted to the YouTube and to the group for people to use. And I try to make some sort of a PowerPoint every Saturday, something that anybody can use. Just this Saturday was it was too hectic for me, so I wasn't able to get it done. Okay. Any questions on the scanner? Anything I can help anybody with? Anything like that?
I guess I have a question. Excuse my
Sure.
morning voice here.
Okay.
I think my biggest thing is that I know what a powerful tool this is. It's just I've been using Quest for the last couple years and finally feel confident in what I'm doing there. And
Uh-huh.
I feel like this could easily be a complement to it. I just don't necessarily know how to break out into doing that, um, in addition to the Quest, I guess. I think that's the biggest thing is like I use it for the inner voice.
Uh-huh.
And I call it sound therapy for them,
Yeah.
but I feel like I'm missing out on a big portion of what could be done in a practice.
Tracy, do you give them the inner voice reports? I mean, I'm sure you do. You probably email
Yeah.
them their report,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Do you
Absolutely.
do you kind of educate them on reading over those reports so that they can see what things are popping up for them?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This is what I do with because I'm not a doctor yet. I'm working on that. But I don't have the practice that some of you have, like Dr. Sheila and those that can actually break into, talking about, body systems and things like that. So with the inner voice, what I have found is that it is a great segue into the vitals and the comprehensive and the body systems because of that information in the bottom of those inner voice reports. So it kind of, if once they start reading it, then they'll start asking you, hey, I'm noticing, trends with my inner voice reports that it says certain things. How would I know if that's, if it's something I need to add or if it's something I need to take away? Then you can open it up and say, well, we can run vitals on you. You can take them to the next step and say, look, I can start running either a vital scan on you or inner voice, or not inner voice, easy scans on you every day. And then you can start tracking, and educate them on how to track their own reports. So it kind of takes you out of it a little bit and makes them responsible for their health. This is just me thinking out loud and what I do with my clients.
Sure.
I show them how to track their own reports. And then when they get to tracking, then it makes them more accountable for their health, I guess. And then instead of them always relying on me, I'm empowering them to see the information for themselves and then to start to connect those dots. Because if you can get that with your clients to begin with, then eventually they are going to ask you, how do I get one of these myself? Because it is so overwhelming. This information can be so overwhelming to somebody that really doesn't know about our scanner or what it does. But if you slowly ease them into it, then it opens the door for more questions. Does that help at all?
Yes and no, I guess, because I've got the brick and mortar, and so people are coming into me for the scans.
Okay.
And, just as a side point, I've done kind of comparisons between running a Quest scan and then running an AO. and they are very, very close. So I feel confident in the AO, and I know that AO is doing probably a little bit more in the terms of being able to have that immediate, therapy, if you will.
Right.
And Quest does a little bit, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I guess what I would like is to offer, like, I don't know, packages or something,
Yeah.
but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, like, incorporate and explain, what them doing the vitals would be. I feel like they're gonna be like, well, then why would I do the Quest? Like, why would I pay you, you know, this X amount of money to do this scan and get a whole protocol designed for them for 8 weeks? And where does this complement that, I guess is what I'm saying? Or how do other practitioners do it?
I'm not familiar with the Quest. Sheila, are you familiar with the Quest? Maybe she left.
Nope, sorry, I thought I unmuted. I don't have Quest. I've never used it. I've checked it out, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know a lot about it.
Okay. Tracy, why don't we reach out into our community, or I can reach out and find out who uses the Quest because I'm not familiar with it. Where are you located anyway?
Wisconsin.
Oh, way up there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Let me
So
just spend a week with you.
what's that?
Say again.
I said, what was that? I missed
I
it.
said, let me come up there and stay a week with you in your clinic and just kind of see how you run things. I'm such a visual that I have to kind of know what y'all are doing.
Oh,
Um,
sure.
I'll reach out and see who has a Quest and how they're using it. Um, in their how they're using the AO alongside. It may be that the inner voice, I mean, depending on what the Quest runs, and maybe I because I don't know what it does. You're
It's
saying
basically it is did you ever know about, like, the standard enzyme vital? um Deborah, that was on the call the other day, she
Deborah
used to
Bruce.
work with Jimmy Hobber.
Yeah.
So she ran the Vital software, which is what I started out on. But
Mhm.
after Jimmy passed away, I ended up buying it's actually an older version of Quest. It's called Asira. So I bought the older version, and it's just bioenergetic testing, and it tests everything that the AO does, not as beautifully with all of the visual reports that AO has. I mean, I think that to a certain extent is like Quest on steroids, but um it has a lot of the same information, but like the Cephi and some of those things that are in the quick scans, those are just beautiful and brilliant. And I want to be able to provide something like that to offer to my clients in addition to what
Mhm.
I'm already doing. Because the Quest is really just giving them, a snapshot in time of what's going on so that
Mhm.
I can help them develop a protocol, what they're deficient in, etc. And I guess, you know what? Here's the difference. The difference is that, from what I can tell, and maybe I don't know AO well enough to be able to know, but the difference is that it will pull up exact products to help them balance. So, and then I can give them a protocol for 8 weeks. And then they come back in and get rescanned. Um, and I know that it's working really well because I have a lot of clients that have been clinically diagnosed with cancer, and their scans just look more beautiful every time I'm scanning them. So I know things are working. I feel like the AO would just beautifully complement it. I just haven't figured out a way beyond the inner voice to do it.
See, and I just hearing you, I'm thinking, well, the AO does all that too.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like, is it a compliment or is it an either or?
I think it would be an either or. And my question to you, are you so attached to the quest that you can't phase it out and start using the AO, with as much as the AO is going to start just even getting more and more complex? Because I think these other frequency devices are literally going to be phased out in
And that
comparison.
doesn't surprise me. I mean, it really does.
Yeah. See, because with the easy scan, you can actually, I mean, when you put in your supplements, you can go in there and pick all of those for it to analyze. And then on the report, it actually shows you, for the day, uh, which supplements I needed right there, and what therapies I needed. This was yesterday's
So
scan
you could,
result.
would you do that for, like, let's say an 8-week protocol time
Yeah.
for your clients?
Well, no. I would see, we with the AO and everything that we've learned, Tracy, is that we've learned that, doing that, there are protocols that you will do and you'll stick to, but as far as the supplements that the AO is pulling up, it's what your body's wanting for the day. So you'd have to figure out what their protocol that you're wanting them to do. But see, with what you're working with, just like with my mom, I had a specific nutritional protocol that I wanted her to follow, and she followed it to a T. But everything that the scanner also brought up is things that she did on a daily basis, but she did never veered away from the protocol that maybe we had her on some 3 week, of a certain,
Mm-hmm.
herbal powder or something to help with
Sure.
something. So I I always made the protocol, and then in this is what I do with my mom. In about 3 to 6 months, and it was closer to every 3 months that I was rerunning the big scans on my mom. So instead of doing the easy scan every day, then on, about every 3 to 6 months, and now we're moved to about every 6 months, then I do the vitals, the comprehensive, and the body systems all together. I'll do that for 3 to 5 days in a row. And I tell her, we want to do, we want to do this first thing in the morning before you've eaten or drank anything. And I'll run a series of 3 to 5 scans, and then I go back and I relook at everything. And then I decide, well, how do we need to change up your protocol? How do we need to change up what you're doing? And then she also does the easy scan every day there following afterwards, so that she sees what things her body is wanting that maybe
Okay.
is not part of that protocol. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
So that's kind of how I've worked with, and I have several clients that, that they'll do the inner voice scan with me every day for a month, okay? And then about every 3 to 6 months, then they have me run a series of 3 to 5 easy scans or 3 to 5 vitals. And then I look at everything again. I mean, it's kind of up to you how you want to gather the data so that you can relook or revisit what's going on in their body to determine, okay, you've improved in this area, we can move away from that, and now we need to attack this situation that's showing up now in your vitals. Maybe, maybe we've got their minerals all in check, and now that maybe the amino acids are not lining up. I'm just trying to give you some kind of a little thing that I kind of follow. So you just work with your client until you figure out, you know, what you can help them with, and then they revisit again in another 3 to 6 months. So you can kind of, there's all kinds of ways to work this. Um,
Yeah.
I have a mentor that has the big one, and she will only run one big vitals and then see what's on the vitals, and then she connects the dots and just runs the comprehensive based on what the vital says. And then she makes a protocol, and she says, I don't want to see you again for another 6 months. And that's
Wow.
Karen Urbanak. She does that.
Hmm.
So, it's all how you want to deal with your business, or how busy you are, or you kind of have to alter it for you. Um,
Sure.
but that's kind of something that I've done with mine. And I don't know if that helps at all, but I just do a package where, if we do 3 to 5, let's say easy scans, and I'll do a package of maybe, $199 for 3 to 5 days of that. And then if I take all the information and compile it and analyze it, then there's fees on top of that. And then making their protocol. I just don't know how you kind of run your business, but that's how I do mine. So, uh,
Hmm.
and it works for me. But I think it's just one of those things you're going to have to figure out how to incorporate it with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I already had a system in place that's been very effective with kinesiology. And I mean, they know the first day they come in what it's going to look like for the next 3 to 6 years, 1 to 3 years. But when I got the AO, now it's kind of like, what pieces might I not have thought of or considered, or if I've got a really complicated case that might not be breaking, I might go in and look. And I do have them on Inner Voice because everyone should be on Inner
Yeah.
Voice. But
Yeah.
I just do $49 a month for the Inner Voice, and
Yeah.
that's added to their regular program. But my people come in every week for the first 6, and then every other for the next 12. And then we're either biweekly or monthly because they're on a healing program. So I'm not great at package deals. I just include it in my regular practice,
Nice. I like that.
except for the additionals, like
Right.
if they do custom programs, like if it's cancer or autoimmune or something really bad like that, we're going to do AO Inner Voice and broadcasting. And that's just an additional fee, but it's really small.
Right. See, it's kind of what I do too. Well, in a sense, with if we're doing Inner Voice is like, it's kind of like the magic behind the whole scanner, in my opinion. And if you can get them on a program where you're doing the Inner Voice with them on a monthly deal, and if you can get them to tie, what I do is if you'll commit to 3 months, I'll give you a little bit of a discount. So instead of what is it, 149 for 3 months, I'll do it for 99 for 3 months if they'll commit to that. And then if they want me to broadcast something for them, then I add a little bit of fee to that. And if you can get them to commit to a 3 month program, then that, to me, you get bigger results when you get people to commit and they're actually doing it. Now, I've had a couple that they said that they were, doing their Inner Voice and I could tell that they weren't. I mean, you kind of can feel those people out. But that would be a great way to start, Tracy, is just to continue to use the Inner Voice with your clients. And then maybe when you're doing your quest stuff, do the vitals and stuff alongside it and use it as a complement, like you said.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue with myself, not with AO, is learning how everything connects on the vitals, whereas in the quest, it just gives it to me. It just shows me all the connections. And so I don't have to kind of like piece it together and figure it out. And I think that's where I'm having a hard time. And that's just going to be learning. It's just going to be, constantly learning, being on these calls or listening to the replays and, figuring out how things piece together. Like when you guys were talking about autoimmunity, I would love to know how those things piece together, to be able to say, oh yeah, I can see, yep, this flags, this flags, this flags. So this to me is like leaky gut leading to autoimmunity type of a thing,
Right. Have you when you do your scans on your people, are you making a habit of looking at their reports, getting their permission, of course, and looking at the reports
Oh yes. Yep.
afterwards, just so you can start to visualize? Because I know for me, I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to connect all the dots, and I've been in it for 2.5 years. because it just, we keep getting more and more information, just like the food sensitivities now we're
Sure.
having to add that and figure out how does that all connect with. And not only that, now we have the database and we have all this other stuff, and it's like, oh,
Well, and
but I
that's
did.
just it. It's like, even when I look at the database, I'm like, okay, well, and I just realized when you were saying something, I must be running the vitals and the comp and the body systems way too often then, because I'm doing it every day on myself. So I'm
Oh,
probably like making things worse, I'm sure, for myself, or I'm not sure.
well, you're okay to run the vitals, this big vitals every day on yourself. It's just when we get to this comprehensive, I don't know which one you're running, but this
Combined.
one, oh, the combined, you're probably okay with that. I mean, it's okay to run those every day. I would never ever run this custom scan every day. The only time I've ever done that is with somebody that is very, very chronic and got some issues going on, because
Yeah,
I actually want to line up everything in that scan.
sure.
And you can't line them up in the combined. It's just impossible. So I'll do a custom scan probably 3 to 5 times too in a row, but I make sure that my person is really getting lots of water, because they will typically have a Herx reaction with this, doing it several times in a row, is what I have found.
Wow.
Like I said, it's not a common thing for me to do, but if I need to get an idea of what the heck is really going on with this person, this custom scan really helps me to piece those pieces
Mm,
together. And then, of course, now we have the dental. I'm starting to not rely so much on the combined as much as I'll look at the dental now and kind of connect those emotions, those meridians. I mean, we just have such a great tool. And of course, Lauren has talked about things being more simplified later. I
yeah.
just don't know what that looks like and whether
Yeah,
we're going to like it, because we're all getting used to, kind of learning this by ourselves, so to speak.
sure.
Um, I don't know what the answer is. I know that we've only been involved, what, since December? Was it around December?
Well, we had just
Or
gotten
was
back
it
from the
before?
Oklahoma
Oh, that's right.
trip.
That's right.
Yep. So shortly
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah. So yeah, it was more in the summertime. So you've been involved. You'll be going on a year coming up this summer. So really give yourself some grace and just know that you're doing a fantabulous job just doing what you're doing. Just, go slow and you'll figure out your rhythm. I mean, even I'm at a point where I still switch my stuff up.
Okay.
I find that something works a little bit better and I just alter it.
I
But
think I got overwhelmed at one point when on one of the calls that I was rewatching, they were showing like, okay, you have to put all of these reports side by side by side to compare. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hardly have 2 seconds to spare right now.
yeah,
And then to do that, I thought maybe I jumped into something that I should have waited on. But then I thought, just keep plugging away. And
yeah,
even if you're not there yet, just if nothing else, it's beneficial for my family.
right.
And, if I can incorporate it into the practice besides the inner voice, I would love to be able to do that. Um,
And I think you will. I think you will do that, but it's going to take a little bit of time. Um, mm, um, Again, I would tell your client, since you're sending the email to them,
mhm,
have them compile the data. Teach them how to do that and
okay,
have them compile the data for you. That takes you out of it, you know?
sure.
And then once they have everything compiled, then they can send you the full compilation of those reports. And now we have a great little spreadsheet that we can put those on. And I'm supposed to meet with Bonita sometime soon, because she's made up another spreadsheet that kind of takes 14 days and kind of filters it down so that we can see things a
Wow.
little clearer. So just know that there's things being worked out that we can help each other with. I just don't have all those tools in place yet, but
Of course. Yeah.
um but I would just have your clients put that stuff together, and then they're actually going to tell you some things about themselves once they start compiling and seeing the things that are consistently showing up. Because I've had several clients do that. They're like, Tammy, I'm noticing this, and I do eat a lot of this, this, and this. Like, well, it might be time to
Sure.
take those out, you know? So
Yeah.
kind of empowers them to take control of their health too, you know, and it makes your workload a little easier if they're doing part of it for you.
Sure.
I
Well,
mean,
thank you. I didn't mean to hijack the call. I just wanted to
no,
ask
no,
a few things.
you did not hijack. I think if you have the question, probably more people have the question. And hopefully, you know, I'm trying to, you know, look at different packages and put them in the group so people can see what others are doing. I've been kind of collecting some, you know, different graphics that people have been sharing, and I'm gonna ask their permission if I can share it in my group. But I've been kind of stealing, so to speak, their graphics so that I can put them all together and just show people these are the different things that you can do. And if not, then I'll make up a graphic and put it in there as an example. But hopefully I'll have some more of that in there for you guys to look at in the group.
That is helpful because not all of us are real creative. That's always been one of my struggles is packaging. My brain doesn't work well that way.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I
So we
Yeah, and I
appreciate
think,
it.
oh, sorry.
it,
I was gonna say, I think too, just maybe asking, and maybe you have, and I'm just late to the show here, is how other practitioners are running their business. Like,
yeah,
what do you do in your business? How are you putting this together? How are you bringing, people in? And maybe this would be like a perfect ancillary where, they don't want to do a big scan. They can't afford to do a big scan and a big protocol. So if you
right.
don't want to do that, here's option B for you,
Yeah.
etc.
See, in my mind, option A would be inner voice with those reports, you know, because there's great information on there.
Yeah.
Option B would probably be body systems because that gives them another kind of piece of the puzzle and extra information, but it's only breaking it down through body systems. So that'd be kind of your next step up. And then your third step up would be the inner or the easy scan on a daily basis. So maybe you could do it in that setup, you know, option one,
Yeah.
inner voice, option two, body systems, option three, easy scan, you know, and do a price point for each of those,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it.
you know.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
And then if they also wanted supportive frequencies to be broadcasted to them, then that's a little addition, but it's, you know, it's a little extra fee for you to do that on a daily basis that's combined with the inner voice. I know that's what I do with my inner voice is that if somebody wants supportive frequencies, if they want me to make them a customized playlist just for them that we play
Yeah.
consistently for the whole month, then I do that for $89 a month. You know, they get their inner voice, but then they get broadcasted a Cephi program for 10 minutes every day after their inner voice is recorded and they've gotten their reports. Then I broadcast that for them for 10 minutes every day, and then you charge a little fee for that because, you know, really having their own scanner would be great and beneficial, but if they don't want to do that, then that is one of the
Sure.
things you can do. So
Okay. All right. No, that works great.
and I'll ask in the group, and it might be a maybe this, you know, and I know that who is doing it right now, uh Steph Warner has been uh interviewing different practitioners and how they use it in their practice. You might look her up on Facebook,
Okay.
and I know she's been posting them in the Solex official group. So look up Steph Warner, and I think she interviewed Becky Coots one day.
Okay.
She just got through interviewing Alice Johann, the one that does our homeopathy course. And I don't know who she's got up next, but I've been seeing, I haven't got to watch those calls because I'm just so limited on time right now as it is, but I did watch a little bit of Becky's call, and she asked some great questions. So you might want to watch her interviews and get some ideas there. I mean, she's already doing it, so I thought, well, maybe I could do it too. But if she's already,
Yeah.
doing that, posting
And-
it in the group, then it might be just good to follow her.
Okay.
And
Perfect. Thank you.
to find it faster, just go to YouTube.
Oh.
Her videos are on YouTube. It's just a lot faster than scrolling through all of them.
What is her YouTube? Do you know what her YouTube channel is?
Steph Warner.
Oh,
I just found her with Steph Warner. But I don't know if he'll show up. Let me see if I can find.
I know she's
Because
got.
I watched the one with the.
Yeah, it didn't pop
No,
up.
I watched the one with the lady that does the. Oh nope, I don't know. I'll have to see whether her thing is. Sorry.
No,
Didn't
don't
lead you on
be
a good
sorry.
day.
I know that you can go over to the Solex, or let me go to AO because it comes up like that. Here we go. If you go here, then you can go to the search bar here. And let's look up Steph Warner.
I can never find anything. Well, you have to scroll through it, but that's okay.
There you go. Here's hers. So here's her interview with Becky. Here's her interview with Alice Jerhane.
Yeah, that was really good. I watched that.
Yeah, I haven't got to watch it yet. So if you'll just search her in the AO official group, she is posting them there, Tracy.
Perfect. Thank you. I think
and I
that
know
will help.
she just started them. So, and I don't know if that content is going to have what you're looking for, but it might be a good place to start until I can kind of put out into the group who's using Quest, who's also using the AO, because I know there are several that even use like Healy with the AO or, Zytoscan with the AO. So
Sure. And I would say that, the Quest is very comparable to the Zyto.
Okay. Well, I know that there are practitioners that are using both of them, so that are in my team. So I'll reach out to those and ask.
Okay.
Of course, the one Sheila knows who that person is. But that one person, I think she's so busy, I'll probably never get a hold of her.
I sold my Zyto when I got AO.
Seriously.
Yes,
See,
I
that's
had
what
the elite, and I've never, I did weekly training with the coach with the select for over a year, and then I sold that to learn kinesiology. Then I went back and got the elite, did coaching an hour every week for almost a year again, and still just, there were just some things about Zyto I found overwhelming, not helpful, and confusing. And then AO, when I got that, it was like, okay, I'm done. I sold it. So I love the AO. It's just, I don't know, it's everything that I need.
And
Well, that's amazing. I think for me, it's just going to be communicating and sharing and how to share that with the clients, with the reports, because I know as a client, when somebody did an AO on me, I was completely overwhelmed by all the information. And then you get people that are brain fog and, hormonally imbalanced, and you give them that much information and they'll go into shutdown mode. And I think that's why I've held off, because with the Quest, I can pick and choose what I show them to just ease into things, give them a little bit and ease into things without making them overwhelmed.
now, you can do that with the AO as well. You can pick and choose what you actually scan.
Yeah.
But well, the thing is I want to scan everything, but I don't want to show them everything.
Oh, I got you. We really need that option where we can only, and I think they are working on that, because that has been a suggestion, but I think we can put that suggestion in again that, hey, if as a practitioner, if I scan everything, I don't want to send everything in the email. Give us that choice to deselect some of that stuff.
Like, for instance, like obviously I would love to do chakras on everybody, but
Yeah.
not everybody is going to like seeing that.
Yeah.
So, that would be an important thing.
I think we need to put another suggestion into Solex. So write support at Solex LLC and let them know that we would like the option to, be able to share certain things in the email. Gosh, I got the hiccups. Certain things in the email rather than the whole report.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll listen to that.
Real good.
Well,
that's
go ahead.
Awesome suggestions.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of other way. And maybe we do a practitioner Zoom call one Saturday where we kind of share ideas on how we do it with our clients. And maybe I can reach out to some of those that have been using it for a while, and maybe we just do a Saturday Zoom training on that.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Even
Okay.
like when you were talking about those, okay, option A is, the inner voice. Option B, like I would even like to know what other practitioners use as a price point for either of those,
Okay.
because I would have no idea where to start. I mean, I tell you that I do the inner voices for a month right now for 35, and I'm just giving them every 2 weeks a new inner voice. And so when you were saying no, do them daily for them, I'm like, oh, well then I'm really not doing them a favor if I'm only giving it to them, twice a month.
Yeah, I really think that daily inner voice scans is where they're going to feel shifts, and they're gonna come back and thank you. Whereas if you're just doing it hit or miss, it's just not enough. I even had a practitioner, she's not with us any longer. I think she finally sold her AO, but she refused to do the inner voice every day. And I'm like, if you don't do the inner voice every day, you're not going to feel or get any benefit from this, because that is actually the basis of our scanners. And and even when she was doing it with her clients, and I get it that you have to have a couple of days off, but and if you do schedule where you don't send an inner voice on the weekend at all, fine, great. Let them at least listen to whatever their last one was over the weekend, but I still feel like they need to have a daily one. And like I said, I just go ahead and do. It's just so quick to do, and it doesn't take much time, and I can still go about my day even though I'm sending them their inner voice. I just make sure that on the weekends, hey, can you guys get it in before 10 or 11 Central Standard Time? That way I can go on about my day.
Sure.
And most of them are very compliant. I've only had a couple that they're, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Nope, sorry, you missed out. I do
Yeah.
have boundaries here.
So does the inner voice, is that when in the database, when it comes up with all of those emotional hits, is the inner voice balancing all of those, or is that separate? No?
I don't know the answer to that.
Because I mean, I would love to be able to know, like, okay, when those hits come up, that's when you see, a Psych K practitioner, or you see a, body code, emotion code practitioner or something.
And that's what I do tell people. If I see a bunch of emotionals with a certain area, I'll say, it might be a good idea to get an emotion code, body code practitioner in on this, and I'll send them your reports. They can look at that, and that is something that I have done.
Okay.
And to answer that question, now that I'm thinking about all that the inner voice scans, remember Lauren just stated there's over 2,000 frequencies or 200,000. I can't remember the number, so don't quote me on it. But he said that there was over so many frequencies or emotions that the inner voice was actually scanning. Does somebody else remember what he said just recently on the inner voice? Because I think and it might have been in a training, I can't remember now. No, it was 2 weeks ago when he showed up on the call, and he talked about how the grid on the inner voice, that it only shows the 12
Oh,
octaves,
yeah, I remember that.
but it's
Yep.
but it's actually analyzing over, I want to say it was 2,000 or 200,000 different frequencies.
Mm.
So
He said 2,000, but I thought someone else had said 8,000, so I'm confused.
yeah, so see, anyway, the point is that it's actually analyzing more than just 12. It's actually doing a whole bunch more. So maybe with what's showing up in the database, it is analyzing all that, Tracy. And
Okay.
maybe that's why those things are popping up.
Okay.
I
Good to know.
Go ahead.
I think I mean, because that hit me when I heard him say that, because if both of us show up with C sharp,
Uh-huh.
your balancing harmonics are going to be different than mine, because we're going
Right.
to have different things that were out of those
Right.
2,000 or 8,000 frequencies. So it's
Right.
very individual, but you can't see that.
No. And you're not going to actually see it on the reports. It's just like when I tell people, they're like, but my reports always look the same. I said, do they really? Analyze your reports, because I think they're very different from day to day. You're just not seeing it. You're thinking it's the same, but it's not. Even the tones are different. So
So are you saying that like the tones are different because there's that like one underlying tone that you can kind of hear that's different than just the music that's playing?
yeah, the music is always the same, but
But
it's
it's
the
the
tones.
underlying tone.
It's the
Ah,
frequencies and the tones that are different. And he also stated, Tracy, that there are many frequencies in the colored boxes that we're not audibly able to hear, but the brain
right.
detects. So that's why, it's so important to tell you and educate your clients. It may sound the same every day and from week to week, but you're actually getting something totally different because the brain is recognizing that.
So that's why it's probably important to wear like the headset then
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
just listening to it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
because
very
and
good.
Lauren has stated that too. We need to be wearing, I mean, it's not critical, but you're going to get the best results if you're wearing the noise canceling headphones or earbuds. And
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that, there are days that, I'm really busy and I'm trying to watch a video and I can't plug it. So I'll just play it out loud. I can tell a difference. I don't feel like I'm as balanced as when I actually set the time aside to wear my glasses while I'm listening to the tones.
Sure.
I get a better result that way.
And that actually brings another question. So the glasses, are they to be worn at the same time, or can you wear them separately?
You can wear
Or
them
is there a
separately.
compounding effect to wearing them together?
I honestly think and feel a difference when I wear my glasses, because I'll be honest, I've played around with this and I've not worn my glasses and I've just listened to my tones and I've visualized the color, but it's not until that I actually wear the colors and I'm actually looking at that and thinking and meditating on it, I get a bigger shift that way.
Okay.
That's just me though, and I've heard even people tell me that when they're wearing their glasses and they're listening to the tones, I've had a couple of very sensitive people tell me that they can actually see frequencies in front of them.
Okay.
So to me, it's very powerful. And it's not to say that playing them out loud won't give you some sort of benefit, because I've had several people tell me that they get benefit from that too.
Sure.
So I just feel like if you want to give your clients the most bang for their buck, have them do everything,
Okay.
together.
And the Amazon ones are not the same because
No,
they're not the exact color. Is that the scoop?
they're not the same, but I've got people that use them because they're cheap,
Yeah.
and to me, Tracy, some chromotherapy is better than none at all. you know.
Sure. Yep.
I've even told people that if they really can't afford anything, take some Ziploc baggies and do a yellow highlighter on the bag and look through it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if they really want to experience that, but they just don't have the money to, you
Sure.
know. But I mean, my daughter-in-law has my old Amazon set because I bought the Solex set and I really like the Solex set. So
Okay.
and I've seen people wear different colors throughout the day. Like Stacy, one of the AO people, Stacy, she's in Texas. I noticed that she'll wear different colored glasses throughout the day. So maybe she, maybe if yellow shows up for her that day, she wears yellow throughout the day, when she's
Well,
driving.
Lauren did say in one of our calls, one of our weekly calls, he said to wear the bottom one and the top one 15 minutes during the day at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember him saying that too.
Okay.
And then if this color, this bottom color, whatever that color is, even to wear that color, wear it in your clothing if you have those colors is also beneficial. And eating the foods that are that color is beneficial.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That was early on. We were told that early on. Eat the colors, wear the colors, visualize the colors, pick out something that color that day or something to help support yourself. If you have a crystal that color, putting it on your scanner while you're listening to the tones. I mean, I've heard all kinds of different things that people do to incorporate the color therapy.
Okay.
So some even make, crystal grids with their colors for the day. I'm not that deep into that type of thing. I'm interested in it, but I haven't done that, So there's just all kinds of things that you can do that supports what you're doing. Any other questions? This was a good one today, you guys. I love it. Anything else I can help with or answer questions over, or maybe you have suggestions or things that's working for you want to share?
Hi, I'm Lene.
Hi, Lene.
Hi. I just wanted to, I guess one of my questions kind of got answered, but I made a testimonial. My mom had she was a pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
She was at like at 5.8, and she followed the diets and whatever you had to do, but she also listened to the tones that I did for about 2 weeks. When she went back in for her second appointment, she was down to 5.1.
Oh, nice.
No longer pre-diabetic. But I also have a son right now that is at a 5.8. And I'm telling him right now, I mean, just from the doctors, they said exercise is the number one thing you have to do for your pre-diabetic. It was just like at the top of the list. You have to do your diet and everything too.
Right.
But does exercise, what is it with exercise? Because they tell you to do exercise and yes, everything has frequency, but even does your exercise, your feet hitting the ground, the movement create a frequency?
Sure. Everything does. In fact,
I'm just wondering,
on the ground is a wonderful, I mean, you're getting the earth's frequency just by putting your bare feet on the ground.
Yeah. But I wondered if your actual body movements do that. And because it doesn't have to be strenuous exercise. He just needs to get up and move.
Yeah. Go walk, go do something. Yes. Yes.
Most my biggest. All right. Yeah. That was one of my biggest questions. I've just got some issues here I've got to deal with my kiddo. But.
Well, we're glad to have you, Lene.
Thank you.
And she might be joining us in North Carolina.
Yay! Good.
Yeah, I'm going to just go out on a whim and pull some strings.
Yeah.
It's scary because I've never been on an airplane before.
Wow.
So I'm gonna try that.
Nice. Well, I can't
Very
wait
good
to
deal.
meet
So
you.
yeah, I can't wait to meet you too.
Good. So exciting. All right. Any other questions before we close?
If you wouldn't mind just sharing what your homeoenergetics and or the dental just view it and look like. I haven't had a chance to purchase it yet. I definitely want to. I just haven't. I just would be interested to see like, oh my goodness, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's got that. And then when you open up the reports, let me minus out of the chat. Now I'm gonna let you know that my top arch is a complete denture. So my teeth, of course, energetically your teeth will still show up, but here's what the actual each one looks like.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean, Tracy, if there was one, and I haven't even finished the course yet, but if there is one course that I would highly recommend, it would be this new head to toe course that those two doctors put out.
Oh, really?
Yes. The book that it comes with is the most invaluable book that, I mean, it is worth the 100.
Is it so? Pamela and I actually know each other from Quest because she does the Quest as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. So I guess my question is that course, was it designed by her and the other gal?
I believe so, because they're the ones that are speaking on it. Is that what you get, Sheila?
Yeah, it says by Pamela Winghurt and Jennifer Nelson Hawks. So,
Okay.
and it's fabulous, invaluable. I highly recommend this course over any, I mean, I think it's the most valuable I've seen so far.
Yeah, me too.
And the course talks about the AO in general and connecting the dots on things.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go into my back office and I'll kind of give you a glimpse of it. I'm gonna
Now
stop.
I'm thinking they're going to expand on this because this one is Vitals Made Easy, and I'm betting there will be more to come.
Yes, they've even spoke about that. So they said it's going to be a live, kind of a live ebook too, because when you go to do the book, I'll just show you the book real quick.
It's beautiful.
Still haven't been able to actually print that one off, and I have yet to figure out what was wrong with my
Tammy. I could print it off for you and bring it to Data. Well, if you don't have it done before then, I can bring you one.
Okay. Let's see. Where is my
Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to be able to say, okay, if I'm going to spend $200 on something, you know, is it things that I really actually need to know, or is it things that I already probably
No, you need this one.
No, you need this one. So here's the actual book, and I'm just kind of stroll through just to kind of give you an idea of everything that's in there. But then the actual pages of the book are supportive, where you can use it kind of a textbook in a way. And when you're using your scanner,
it's not showing
like
anything. It's all white.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. It's
oh.
See, that's what I'm telling you. I'm having issues with this loading and can't seem to get it printed.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot like the binder I put together, except it's more simplified. Where my binder is a culmination of everything that's kind of come out over the past couple of years for just anybody to use whatever they thought was useful. But this book has kind of been put together in such a way that, if you're looking at the body systems, go to the body systems area, how to put the different things together. I mean, it is one of the, and it's like 94 pages. It's a booklet right now. Beautiful. So to me,
And so it's a webinar as well as the book?
Yeah. When you go into your you go in here. It's a really nice, I'm really impressed. Did you buy the homeopathy one? I know since you're already a homeopath, Sheila, you probably didn't, but
No, I did.
oh,
I did. I was curious to see what Alice put together, and her continuing book as well is powerful. I recommend it.
okay. Okay. So here's the different videos on it. There's not a whole lot of videos, but there's a lot of information to help you connect the dots with the book. So it's great information, Tracy. I highly recommend it for especially with what you're going through. If there was anything that I would tell my team members, especially that are practitioners, grab that training first and start off with it after you do your basic training. This is what I'm going to tell my people, because then we get access to it and all the updates and everything. So I think it's extremely valuable.
Okay, I will do that then.
Okay. And then I'll still work on trying to figure out, who we can, maybe we'll have a Zoom call on Saturday where we get a bunch of practitioners together. And have you reached out to Pamela to find out?
I was going to say, you know what, maybe she's in Ohio. She's not too far from me. She's got a booming practice. Like it's a nutrition store, and she's got like every single device underneath the sun, and people can just come in for the day and pick what device they want to go on. She's got a biocharger. She's got the PEM, and I have a couple of those things as well, but I just want to incorporate the AO more than what I'm using it for. So
she may be somebody.
But yeah, you're right. I should reach out to her.
Yeah, you should, and see how she's kind of incorporating it, or maybe she can give you some suggestions, because I'm not familiar with the Quest. This is the first frequency device I've ever gotten involved with. I've had things done to me in the past, but when I got involved, I knew nothing about frequencies. So
yeah, she wrote a whole, it doesn't surprise me that she did this course with AO, because she's only been with AO for a year. And she wrote an entire course for Quest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's brilliant. All right, that's a good idea. I should chat with her.
Yeah, don't give up. And if there's anything I can do on my end as far as, helping you at all, I'm here. If you want me to, come spend
I don't want to take advantage either. I mean,
everything that I do for my team members is kind of helps me too, because it helps me be a better leader. So, don't ever think of taking advantage, because if I'm too busy, I'll tell you, hey, I just don't have time for that. But I try to help out as much as I can.
Sounds good. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Okay, let me check the chat before we call it. Yeah, you go to Christine, you actually go over here to your home. Let me just show you how to buy the course. Your home, and this scrolling banner. Get this thing out of the way here. So you'll scroll over right here. You just click right here, click to enroll. You just click the banner to enroll. And it'll, of course, I've already purchased it, so it'll tell you the price of it. I can't remember if it's $195 or if it was $179. But that's how you buy it. You just go back into your back office and you look at that scrolling link. Let's see. You're welcome. All right. Well, guys, that was a great call today. Next week, I will work on something special, I'm sure. And I'm going to try to get the inner voice stuff, the zones done this week. And maybe I'll share more on that on Saturday. I haven't decided yet. But that'll give you some information there.
Great. Thank you so much. I will be
Thank
at a
you.
conference next weekend, but this
Oh,
has
how
been great.
fun. How
Thank
fun.
you, Tammy.
You're
Thank you,
so
Tammy.
welcome. You're so welcome. You guys have a great Saturday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.